over 60, you are being set up to fail. You have seen the videos. You have seen the headlines. They tell you, just eat dates. Eat pineapple. It is natural. It fights sarcopenia. So you go to the store, you buy the fruit, and you eat it. But deep down, a voice in your head is screaming. It asks, wait a minute, is not this just sugar? Am I feeding my muscles, or am I feeding my diabetes? I am Dr. Alan Sterling, and I am here to tell you something your other doctors won't. That voice in your head is absolutely right. If you are over 60 and you eat a bowl of dates while sitting on your couch watching the news, you are not building muscle. You are building insulin resistance. You are speeding up the very aging process you are trying to stop. Natural does not mean safe. Arsenic is natural. Poison ivy is natural. That does not mean you should put it in your mouth without a strategic plan. The standard advice to simply eat more fruit is dangerous because it is incomplete. It ignores the biological reality that your metabolism has changed. Your body no longer processes sugar the way it did when you were 30. When you follow this lazy advice, you are not fixing the engine. You are flooding it. But here is the tragedy. Because you are scared of the sugar, and rightly so, you are likely avoiding fruit entirely. And by doing that, you are missing out on the single most powerful delivery system for muscle recovery that nature ever invented. You are throwing the baby out with the bathwater. You don't have to be afraid of fruit. You just have to stop eating it like a snack and start using it like medicine. I am going to show you the 7 fruits that actually work to fight muscle loss. But unlike the other videos you have watched, I am going to teach you the Sterling Protocol. I will show you exactly when to eat them and how to combine them, so the sugar bypasses your belly fat and goes straight into your muscle fibers to repair them. We are going to turn these sugar bombs into muscle fuel. But first, I need to know who I am talking to. I want to see a show of hands. If you have been avoiding fruit because you are terrified of blood sugar spikes or diabetes, type the word sugar in the comments below. Go ahead, type sugar. If I see that comment, I know you are smart enough to handle the truth I am about to tell you. Let us fix this right now. Part 2, the deep dive, the 7 magnificent warriors. Group 1, the flow activators. We do not just eat randomly. In my clinic, we follow a tactical order. The first reason your muscles are dying, what doctors call sarcopenia, is not because you lack protein. It is because you lack flow. You can eat all the steak and eggs in the world, but if the road to the muscle is closed, the food truck cannot get through. Imagine a garden hose that has been sitting in the hot sun for 60 years. What happens to it? It gets stiff. It gets narrow. It gets clogged with rust, or what we call oxidation. This is exactly what is happening to the microscopic blood vessels, the capillaries, that feed your muscles. As we age, we suffer from something called capillary rarefaction. Essentially, your blood vessels are drying up like a riverbed in a drought. Why? When the blood supply drops, the muscle suffocates. It shrinks, not because you are lazy, but because it is isolated. Before we can rebuild the muscle, we must blast those highways open. 1. The vascular drill, pomegranate. The other videos you watch will tell you to eat pomegranates because they are high in antioxidants. That is cute, but it is dangerously vague. It does not tell you why you are eating it. I prescribe pomegranates because they are a nitric oxide pump. Inside these bright red seeds are powerful compounds called punicalagins. When these compounds hit your gut, your body converts them into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas that acts as a vasodilator. It relaxes the stiff inner walls of your arteries and capillaries, forcing them to open up wide. Think of it like this. Right now, your blood flow is a chaotic, in a one-lane country road full of potholes. Pomegranate turns that road into a 4-lane superhighway. When you open the highway, oxygen rushes into those cold hands and feet. Nutrients rush into the thigh muscles that have been starving for a decade. The burning sensation you feel at night, that is often just a nerve crying out for oxygen. Pomegranate answers that cry. The sterling upgrade: do not drink pomegranate juice. The juice is pasteurized, dead sugar. You need the seeds, the arils. You must chew them thoroughly. The act of chewing stimulates enzymes in your saliva that begin the nitric oxide conversion before the fruit even hits your stomach. You are not snacking. You are preparing your cardiovascular system for war. 2. The mitochondrial charger. Grapes, red or purple. Once the highway is open, we need to jump-start the engine. Inside every single muscle cell, you have tiny batteries called mitochondria. In a 20-year-old, these batteries are burning bright. In a 70-year-old, they are dim. They are flickering. This is why you feel tired after walking up one flight of stairs. It is not that your legs are weak. It is that your batteries are dead. The competitor told you grapes are good for hydration. Water is good for hydration. You eat red or purple grapes for resveratrol. Resveratrol, which is found specifically in the skin of dark grapes, is a signal molecule. It screams at your mitochondria. Wake up. It triggers a process called mitochondrial biogenesis, which literally helps your body create fresh, new batteries for your cells. But remember, the magic is in the skin. Green grapes are just sugar balloons. You need the dark, bitter skin of the red and purple varieties to get the medicinal effect. The capillary pinch test. I want you to stop reading for a moment. We are going to find out right now if your highways are blocked. We are going to do the capillary pinch test. I want you to take your thumb and press it hard into the skin on top of your thigh, just above your knee. Push down until it hurts slightly. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Now, release. You will see a white spot where you push the blood away. Now, watch that spot closely. Does it turn pink again instantly, in under 2 seconds? Or does it stay white and fill in slowly, taking 3 or 4 seconds to return to normal color? If it stays white, your flow is compromised. Your highways are clogged. Your muscles are suffocating. I want you to go to the comments right now. If your color came back slowly, type slow. If it came back instantly, type fast. Be honest with me. If you type slow, you do not skip the pomegranate and grapes. They are no longer food to you. They are your daily medicine. Group 2. The Rebuilders. Clearing the wreckage and filling the tank. Now that we have repressurized your cardiovascular system and opened the highways, we must address the state of the construction site itself. We have delivered the supplies, but the building is covered in debris. You feel stiff. I know you do. You try to reach for the top shelf, and your shoulder locks. You try to squat down to pick up a grandchild, and your knees scream in protest. Your doctor told you this is bone on bone or arthritis, and that you just have to live with it. I am telling you that often this stiffness is actually microscarring or fibrosis. It is the cobwebs of old injuries, inflammation, and metabolic waste that have hardened into concrete over the decades. If we do not break down this concrete, your muscles cannot expand, contract, or grow. 3. The scar tissue eater, pineapple. This is where the pineapple comes in. But we are not eating it for the vitamin C. We are here for a specific enzyme called bromelain. Bromelain is a proteolytic enzyme. In plain medical English, that means it digests protein, but it does not digest your healthy muscle. It is smart. It hunts down the dead, damaged, dysfunctional proteins that make up scar tissue and chronic inflammation. Think of bromelain as a microscopic demolition crew. It travels into your joints and muscle fibers and eats away the concrete that is locking you up. It clears the debris so that new, healthy muscle tissue has room to grow. The sterling upgrade. I want you to listen to this part very closely because 90% of people get this wrong. Most of the bromelain is found in the core of the pineapple, the hard, woody part that you usually cut out and throw in the trash. When you throw away the core, you are throwing away the medicine. Stop doing that. I want you to slice that core thin or blend it into a smoothie. It is tough to chew because it is potent. That is the warhead. 4. The insulin shuttle. Dates, the controversial one. Now we arrive at the enemy, the date. I saw your comments. They were screaming, "Sugar, sugar, sugar." Dr. Sterling, this is dangerous. Here is the truth. A date is pure explosive energy. It is dense glucose. If you eat this and sit in a chair, your blood sugar will skyrocket, your pancreas will panic, and you will store it as visceral belly fat. You were right to be afraid. However, if you are over 60, your muscles are often suffering from something called anabolic resistance. They have become stubborn, and they refuse to open the door to let protein in. You can eat all the steak you want, but your muscles have locked the doors. To force them open, they need a key. Insulin is that key. When you spike insulin strategically, and only strategically, it acts like a shuttle bus. It picks up the protein and amino acids floating in your blood and drives them violently into the muscle cell. You need that spike to force the aging muscle to feed, but you must control it like a nuclear reactor. The Sterling protocol for dates. You are forbidden from eating dates as a snack. You may only eat 1 or 2 dates immediately before or after effort. I am talking about the 10-minute window around your walk, your gardening, or your exercises. Why? Because when your muscles are contracting, or they suck that glucose out of the bloodstream instantly to use as jet fuel, the sugar never gets a chance to poison your system or rot your liver. It goes straight to the engine. Sit on the couch, plus date equals diabetes. Walk the dog, plus date equals muscle growth. This is the rule. If you are not willing to move, put the date down. You must earn your fruit. 5. The nerve spark plug. Fig's muscle is useless if the wire connecting it to the brain is frayed. Many of you feel weak, but your muscles are actually physically capable. The problem is the signal. It is weak. It is full of static. Have you ever tried to start a car with a dying battery? You turn the key and you hear that click, click, click. The engine is fine, but the spark is not there. That is what is happening when you feel shaky holding a cup of coffee, or when your legs feel wobbly on the stairs. That is not always muscle weakness. That is neural fatigue. Figs are your solution because they are packed with a specific, perfect ratio of calcium and potassium. Think of your nerves like electrical wires. Potassium and calcium are the ions that allow the electricity to jump from the nerve to the muscle. They are the spark plugs of the human body. If you are low on these electrolytes, you pull the trigger. Your brain says, move, but the gun does not fire. The leg does not lift. Eating 2 figs a day helps re-insulate that wire and ensure that when you command your body to move, it obeys instantly and without shaking. We are fixing the communication lines so that you can trust your body again. Group 3, the protectors defending the fortress. We have repressurized the flow. We have cleared the debris and fueled the engine. Now, we must reinforce the chassis. You cannot build a skyscraper on a swamp. If your bones are brittle and your body is inflamed, your brain will subconsciously limit your muscle strength to protect you from injury. Your body is smarter than you think. It will not let you get strong if it thinks your bones will snap under the pressure. 6. The bone anchor. Prunes, dried plums. You cannot fire a cannon from a canoe. The cannon is your muscle. The canoe is your bone. If the boat is weak, the cannon fire will capsize it. This is why sarcopenia, muscle loss, and osteoporosis, bone loss, almost always happen together. They are twin disasters. Prunes are the unsung heroes of bone density. The competitor mentioned them briefly, but they missed the most critical element. Prunes contain boron. Boron is a trace mineral that acts like the mortar, holding the bricks of your bones together. It extends the half-life of vitamin D and estrogen in your body, hormones that are essential for bone hardness. Clinical studies have shown that eating just 5 to 6 prunes a day can actually stop bone loss in its tracks and even begin to reverse it. By cementing your skeleton with boron and vitamin K found in prunes, you give your muscles a solid anchor to pull against. When your brain feels that the bone is safe and stable, it takes the safety brakes off your muscles, allowing you to move with more power and confidence. 7. The cooling system. Pairs. Finally, we arrive at the pair. And sarcopenia is often driven by low-grade chronic inflammation. It is a slow-burning fire inside your tissues that eats away at your muscle fibers while you sleep. As we age, our bodies also tend to become more acidic. This acidity dissolves muscle tissue and leaches calcium from the bones. We need a cooling system. Pairs, specifically the skin, are loaded with specific flavonoids that act as a systemic cooling agent. They help neutralize the acidity in your tissues. Think of pears as the radiator fluid in your car. They keep the engine from overheating and melting down after a day of activity. Furthermore, the fiber in pears is crucial. It is not just about digestion. It is about filtration. The soluble fiber binds to waste products and excess cholesterol in your gut and drags them out of your body before they can be reabsorbed into your bloodstream. By keeping your system clean and alkaline, you create an environment where muscle can grow rather than an acidic environment where muscle dissolves. So, there you have it. The competitor gave you a shopping list. I have given you a tactical armory. You have the pomegranate and grapes to blast open the highways. You have the pineapple to clear the wreckage. You have the dates, used strictly, to fuel the engine. You have the figs to spark the ignition. And you have the prunes and pears to protect the chassis. But listening to me is not enough. Information without action is just entertainment. And I am not here to entertain you. I am here to save you from the nursing home. You need a plan. Part 3. The Sterling Protocol, your battle plan. You now possess the tactical knowledge that 99% of seniors, and frankly, many of their doctors, do not have. You know that fruit is not just a snack. It is a mechanism for flow, repair, and defense. But having the weapons in your armory does not win the war. You have to fire them. If you close this video and go back to your old routine, toast for breakfast, sitting all day, and complaining about your knees, then this was all a waste of time. I am not here to be another voice in the background of your decline. I am here to demand your recovery. Here is your battle plan. I do not want you grazing on these 7 fruits all day long like a cow in a pasture. That keeps your insulin constantly elevated. Instead, I want you to condense them. Create a sterling morning stack. I take the core of the pineapple and the skin of the pear and blend them into a smoothie with a scoop of high-quality protein powder. This blunts the sugar spike. Chew the pomegranate seeds and the dates immediately before you take your daily walk. Use the fruits as the literal fuel for your movement. Remember the golden rule: no walk, no date. You must earn your recovery. Most doctors will not take the time to explain this to you. They are too busy writing prescriptions for statins and painkillers, managing your decline rather than engineering your reversal. I am trying to build something different here. I am building an army of seniors who refuse to go quietly into the night. If you want to be part of this team, if you want real, unfiltered medical truth that treats you like an intelligent adult and not a fragile patient, then I invite you to join us. Click the subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Do not do it for me. Do it because the next video I release might just contain the one missing piece of the puzzle that saves you from a hip fracture next winter. Now, we have reached the crossroads. You have 2 choices today. Choice 1 is the path of least resistance. You can say, "That was interesting, Dr. Sterling," and go back to the couch. You can let the rust accumulate. You can let the capillaries dry up. You can let the check engine light burn until the engine fails and you end up in a chair you cannot get out of, waiting for someone to bring you water. That is the path of decay. Choice 2 is the path of the builder. It is harder. It requires you to chew the bitter seeds, to eat the tough core, or to get up and move when you do not feel like it. But this path leads to freedom. It leads to playing on the floor with your great-grandchildren and getting back up without help. It leads to dignity. Your body is incredibly forgiving. It is waiting for a command. It is waiting for you to tell it to grow. I want you to sign your contract with me right now. Go to the comments section. I do not want you to write thanks or good video. I want you to make a declaration to yourself and to this community. Type the words, "I am building." Type it in all caps. I am building. This is your promise that from this day forward, you are not aging, you are training, you are under construction. I am Dr. Alan Sterling. I will see you in the comments, and I will see you in the gym. Let us get to work.